Holla and hello. Thank you very much for joining me today. How are you doing? Good. Today, I'm taking a break from the old German driver's test. As you can see, I still have this window pulled up. We're still on the question, so don't worry. It hasn't been lost yet. And we're going to watch this video. 4 drinking and alcohol differences in the USA versus Germany. Obviously. By Dina and Phil. Absolutely legendary German YouTube channel. Go check them out. They're iconic. Great videos. I know I've seen at least a couple. So I'm going to like it before I even watch it. All right, let's see. Drinking, and there's only 4. Man, they must go in depth.
What's up, everybody? We are Diana and Phil. Diana's from the United States and I am from Germany. And in this video, we're going to talk about 4 drinking differences between the US and Germany.
Point number 1 is the drinking age. This is probably the most exciting for young people in the US because our drinking age in the United States is 21.
Exciting only would it be if they come to Germany.
For now, it's 21. Who knows what it'll be in a couple of years, you know? It only ever goes up. They don't lower the drinking age. You know what I mean? It used to be 18. Presumably, it used to be, I don't know, when was the drinking age invented? Well, for a while, nobody could drink. So I guess technically the age went down after Prohibition. Am I making any sense? I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyway, the age usually only goes up, and for now it's 21. Next thing you know, they'll make it 25.
Because our drinking age is different.
You know why? Because the people who make these laws don't care. They get to go home and sip on their whiskey. They don't care if 23-year-olds get to. It's really that simple. And it's mostly the older people who vote. So what do they care? They're not 22 anymore. They don't care if they're allowed to drink, if 22-year-olds are allowed to drink.
For beer and wine, it's 16, and for hard liquor, it's 18. And there's even this little clause that...
Oh, interesting. Okay, hard liquor, it's 18. Wine's pretty hard. You gotta be careful with the wine. That'll get you into trouble if you underestimate wine. It's like 4 or 5 times more alcoholic than beer. But okay, that does make that. I like how they separate it into 2 different ages. It makes sense. Thank you for making sense. And 18, you know, when you sign up, when you're able to sign up and give your life potentially for your country, you should probably be able to drink a beer while you do it. So I like 18 as the age. I like that there's a different age for hard liquor. Honestly, I could never imagine 16-year-olds drinking, let alone drinking wine. So I say that. Of course, every 16-year-old drinks beer here in America. They just have to sneak it from their parents. Yes, yes, yes. By the way, the age to smoke a cigarette here in America rose to 21. If you were unaware, I mean, you're probably, I don't know if anybody knew that happened. They kind of sneakily did that. It used to be 18. Just another example of them raising the age limit. It used to be 18. Now it's 21 to smoke a cigarette. How am I? I'm 30 seconds into the video and I've talked for 4 minutes. I sincerely apologize. What is this going to be, an hour-long video?
That you are allowed to drink at the age of 14 under supervision.
What?
Of your parent. It's 14. That's legally 7 years.
That's not a 14-year-old cartoon. That cartoon's like 8.
Younger than the 21 in the US.
Yeah.
That's insane. 14?
That's pretty crazy because in the US you can do a lot.
That's kind of ironic because the only way you're drinking at 14 here in America is not under the supervision of a parent.
A lot of things at the age of 18. However, you can't drink, but you can vote, you can serve your country, you can buy a lotto ticket. So that's usually the biggest.
You can sign a contract.
Argument for lowering the drinking age. However, like a lot of laws in the US, it does vary heavily from state to state. You mentioned that with parental consent, you can drink under the age of 16 in Germany. You can do that in the US too, depending on the state, and they have certain reasons, religious reasons or parental consent.
Bull crap. I don't believe it. I actually just straight up don't believe it. I do know, of course, yes, there's some kind of exceptions for like churches, communion, wine. Sure. 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 But apart from that, never heard of that. Apart from a sip of wine at a church service, never heard of. That's amazing. I have to look into that. I'm just kidding about not believing her. I believe her, but that's insane. I never heard that.
Consent, you're allowed to drink in a home private environment. But it varies heavily from state to
Never heard
state.
of
Getting
that.
drunk with your mom.
Yes. So what's really weird to me is my dad used to always talk about how college, it was so crazy because everyone was able to drink. It was like freedom. However, they changed the laws. Obviously, by the time I went to college.
So back in the day, it was 18 for them, right?
Yeah.
And then they changed it to 21.
And they changed it in the mid 80s, I think, in 1984. They changed the drinking age. They raised the drinking age to 21.
So fake IDs became a thing.
To get into bars or purchase alcohol and stuff like that, that's a little more popular.
Well, they might have had fake IDs even before that, because you can still get a driver's license at 16 here in America. You could get one at like 15 and a half, but I think they changed it to 16. So I bet there were some 16-year-olds with fake IDs saying they were 18. You know what I'm saying?
Nowadays.
Let me ask you that. How bad is it to be caught with a fake ID? What kind of offense is that?
It's very bad. So I know a few people in college who were caught with using a fake ID. There are a lot of legal issues because it could be identity fraud, especially if you use someone else's name and not your name.
Yeah.
Most people get a fake ID from a different state too, like an out-of-state ID.
It's weird to me because it sounds very...
It can be a big deal or not a big deal. You know what I mean? Usually the bartender or the bouncer outside the bar will just cut it in half and say, this is fake. Whether they call the cops or not, I don't know. I've never seen them call the cops, but I'm sure obviously, some do.
Very serious, but it seems so common, so normal in the US. I think the German mind, the following the rules thing would be like, we would be very, very nervous, very unsure if we'd ever get a fake ID.
It's a little
I would be too, honestly. I think I have a little German in me. It's not something I would do. But I would say most people's fake IDs are not really like fake IDs. They are. But what I'm saying is that they're real IDs. They're just using their brother's or their cousin's ID. That's like, I bet you that's like 80% of fake IDs. It's just someone using an ID from like their brother.
different experience.
It's still not, good. It's still illegal. But also, if you're using a fake ID and you're like 17 or something, there's only so much legal trouble you can get in as a minor. So if you're going to do some criminal stuff, do it when you're under 18 in America.
When you tell me your stories of being a kid in Germany and being able to openly drink and stuff at the age of 13.
Yeah, well, to be honest, we started partying and drinking at the age of 13, which is super young. And I don't know which one I think is the better way to do it. I think 21 is definitely too old. I think the 16, 18 rule is potentially okay. I think 14 is definitely too young, even under supervision. Where I come from on a village, people would...
16 really feels pushing it to me, but what do I care? Go ahead, drink.
drinking like crazy in their teens.
Yeah, well, I think it has a lot to do. I remember when we were...
It's probably good when... Sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt, miss. I feel so rude all of a sudden. Like, sorry. I know you were in the middle of saying something, but I have to say, it's probably good to learn at a younger age, like, responsible drinking, you know what I mean? And if you're doing it at a younger age with your parents teaching you, that might be a good way to learn it.
Crazy in their teens.
Yeah, well, I think it has a lot to do. I remember when we were learning about this law in school, they mentioned because a lot of states had different laws. So a lot of people that lived on those border states would just drive over the borders because they could drink at age 18. They would drive over the border, get drunk, and then drive back home. And that would cause a lot of DUIs. They say that raising the drinking age lowered the DUIs. and DUI accidents. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked into the data, but that was one of the reasons why the drinking age was raised.
Doesn't matter which age, you should just not
Maybe we should just not let people drive a car till they're 55 years old.
use a car when you go drinking.
Of course. And I especially think nowadays it's a little different because we have Uber and Lyft and a lot of taxi service apps that it just makes it a little more accessible to not drink and drive. Don't drink and drive.
Okay, point number 2
Definitely
is
don't
gonna
do
be buying alcohol.
Yeah, this is so interesting to me. Again, I think it varies from state to state how you can buy alcohol in the US. Some states require that you go to a separate liquor store, like for beer, wine, liquor, and everything, while other states allow sales in the supermarkets with just beer and wine. Some stores you have to show an ID and you can't even be under the age of 21.
Some supermarkets also sell everything. I'd say that's the most common. That's why I say that. You know, most commonly, and I'd have to look up the stats to know for sure, but I think it's most common that a supermarket can sell any liquor, assuming they have that liquor license and beer.
To enter the store or premises. But that's more for liquor
That's so
store.
funny.
But I do remember when I was on a work trip to New Jersey, we couldn't just go into a supermarket to get wine. We had to go into like a separate liquor store, I'm pretty sure. It was different because in South Carolina, you can usually get that in a supermarket.
Yeah, so that's usually
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen it to where they have Walmarts. Do you guys even have Walmart? Probably not. Probably not. That's a good thing. Anyway, there's some Walmarts that have like, there's the Walmart, and then there's a tiny Walmart next to it that's the liquor store Walmart.
how I know it. Like, I don't even know if we have liquor stores per se. We have some drink stores where you can get all kinds of drinks, like non-alcoholic and alcoholic.
You can get a Capri Sun at the liquor store.
Like a Getränkemarkt, a drink market. But
A market of just drinks. So if you're thirsty, you go there, huh? It's kind of weird.
usually all the drinks are in the supermarkets as well. So liquor is just openly displayed on the shelves. Sometimes for the more expensive ones or in weird areas, they have them locked and you have to call somebody. They open that closet for you.
Wait, is that one really 185 bucks? Shoo!
And then they carry the bottle to the checkout for you. And when you're there,
I mean, I guess some bottles of wine go for way more than that. Anyway, sorry. What was he saying?
for you, and then they carry the bottle to the checkout for you. And when you're there, you're like, and that bottle was for me too.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know why.
We've never purchased an expensive one.
And even funny, at the checkout, they have single chocolate bars for you to take, but also little tiny bottles of liquor, like Jägermeister or vodka bottles.
You could get a small little mini bottle.
Oh, wait, that's up at the, that's just in a supermarket? I was going to say, like at a liquor store, you would see this type of thing, but not in a supermarket.
Like
That's
Jägermeister
awesome.
or vodka bottles.
You could get a small little mini bottle while you check out. Yeah, that's so interesting because even if you get like wine at a supermarket, sometimes they'll check the ID of the person you're with too. They would ask for both of our IDs, even if I'm the one purchasing
That's so stupid. I have the best story about that. We were on a class trip to the Dars, which is a peninsula in the Baltic Sea, Germany. And we were all 15, and one of my closest friends was 16 already. And we went to a gas station and we wanted to buy a bunch of beer. So we grabbed like six packs or whatever. And they're like, we can't sell that to you. And he's like, but I'm 16. And they were like, no, we can't sell that to you. It's not for you, it's for them. And we're like, but I'm 16. It's legally like he can buy any amount. They said, we'll sell you 2 bottles. I think that was the stupidest thing. We got so angry. If he's 16, he can buy it. He just can buy it. But they didn't let us.
I thought it would have been different in Germany. They would be like, it doesn't matter.
It should be, logically, but it wasn't. Before we continue, I wanted to take a quick moment and remind you.
Honestly, I was a little bit confused by his story, but it's not, if he's saying what I think he's saying, yeah, here in America, you're not allowed to buy liquor for, like if you go into a store, a grocery store, and buy alcohol, and it's a bunch of kids with you, like 15-year-olds, they're not going to sell it to you.
You guys, please like the video. Every little interaction helps the YouTube algorithm. If you want to further support us, you can do that on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Deanna and Phil. And we have different
Definitely
levels
go
of
support
benefit.
them.
The cost or the price of alcohol.
So if you
Ooh, this is interesting. I never even considered the price.
don't know, we price compare a lot and for everything.
I love
Every time we
talking
go
about
into a different
money.
city, we're usually price comparing. Phil likes to price compare the chicken. Everywhere we go, it's like a thing he does.
Chicken, okay.
And we notice
Now I'm curious. I'm gonna have to follow them and learn about the chicken.
that the prices in the US for alcohol are more expensive than Germany.
More
A lot of
expensive.
price comparison sites will tell you this as well, but you can definitely feel it in your wallet a little.
That sucks. Damn. Yeah, alcohol is super expensive here, especially if you go. Oh my God! Don't even bother. I mean, I say that, but I do drink alcohol at a concert. That's what I'm getting at. At a concert, the alcohol is ridiculous, and at the airport, I mean, I'm talking $15 for one beer.
A little bit when you're buying wine or beer in a restaurant or even a supermarket in the US compared to Germany.
It's very different. Like, let's talk about
The
restaurants.
supermarket is cheap. Like, you can get beer for like less than $2 a bottle, which is, that doesn't sound so good when I say it out loud. For just one bottle, it's like $2. Yeah, it's not good.
You can get a beer for like 2 to 4 euros maybe, or a half a liter beer if you're lucky you get for 2 euros
At, like, a
sometimes on a
bar?
special evening or so, which is pretty cheap. But I also more noticed it so in the supermarkets. And that's even when you travel around in Europe. If you go out of Germany, alcohol is more expensive. Mostly
Oh,
a bottle of
interesting.
beer is freaking cheap in Germany, or even a bottle of vodka. That's what we drank when we
Lucky you.
were
Yeah.
kids. We got the
Enjoy.
cheapest vodka. That's why I know there's always vodka in the supermarket for $4.99. And we're talking about this standard
$4.99 for a whole fifth like that.
0.7-liter bottle. Then you have the Gorbachev vodka, which is like $9, and a bottle of Smirnoff or Absolute vodka, which are the most bought.
Now, these prices are in euros, of course. So I'm just looking at the conversion rate. I don't know the current conversion rate, euro to USD. You know what I mean? I know it's relatively close. Okay, so a euro is worth a little bit more than $1. So this would cost a little bit more than that. It would cost like $16. What the heck? Why does Windows do that? Brilliant idea, Bill Gates. You shake something and it makes everything minimize, you know. No one's ever done that on purpose. Ever. No one's ever shaken a window on their computer to get to the desktop. Ever.
Here, I think that's super cheap compared to many other countries.
Obviously, it depends on the brand. One of my favorite vodkas is Tito's, and that's a little more expensive here. But you have comparable vodkas from surrounding
Tito's.
European countries, and it's so much cheaper in Germany. It's kind of crazy when we do a side-by-side comparison, because we're talking about in Germany when we buy the alcohol, it has tax included, versus
Right.
when you buy the alcohol in the US, usually tax is
Yeah,
not
of course.
included.
Another funny thing.
And there's like extra tax sometimes because it's alcohol. And on cigarettes too.
Beer in the
Cigarettes are crazy. Crazy. It's like $10 a pack now.
restaurants is sometimes cheaper than water. If you order a pint of beer, it could be
I would
3
never order water under these circumstances. Never.
euros, and if you order a comparable soda, a pint of beer, it could be 3 euros, and if you order a comparable sized bottle of mineral water, it could be 4 euros. But there's a rule I heard that there
Ridiculous.
always has to be one drink on the menu that has to be cheaper than beer.
Is that really?
Yeah, somebody pointed that out when we talked about this stuff before.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't really drink beer, but when we go to a restaurant and I see that the beer is cheaper, I'm like, should I just drink a beer instead of a water?
Before we
Yes.
continue with the video, quick message from
They do it on purpose to get you drunk so you buy more food.
today's sponsor, NordVPN. NordVPN is a virtual network
check out
provider.
NordVPN.
All right, and our last point, number 4, is gonna be the open container.
So open container is a phrase we use in the US, and it's being allowed to walk around with alcohol openly.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. This is a serious convenience if you're allowed to, and it varies city by city,
Like so.
state by state.
He's not 16 yet. So this usually refers to in public places like a park or a transportation system or the public street. A lot of places in the US you are not allowed to walk around openly with alcohol. Like I mentioned before, the laws vary heavily from state to state, and there are some cities and like areas where you're allowed to walk openly with alcohol. The first two that come to mind for me are Savannah, Georgia. There's this area where you can have open containers, and New Orleans.
Vegas, right?
I guess maybe.
Vegas.
I've never
All
been
the
to
videos,
Vegas.
they run around
Oh yeah, you're allowed in Vegas. Oh yeah.
with their big slushy.
Yeah.
Vegas economy would collapse if they changed that law.
The big hurricane drinks? I've never been to Vegas, so maybe. So there are some areas where you're allowed to, but for the most part, you are not allowed to.
Have you guys seen the ball, the Vegas sphere that they made? I need to go back to Vegas to see that.
Just go to a park nearby and have a picnic wine basket or something. You're
That's
just
so weird.
not allowed to do that.
And we're talking very little spots in a huge country. So
Yeah,
mostly
true.
you can say it's not allowed, and it's weird because in Germany, if you're
Ridiculous.
legally allowed to drink, you can walk around on the street at any time.
And why not? Look, a beer and a pretzel. That's a good point. Like, you could walk around with a beer and a pretzel. Could life get any better than an authentic German beer and pretzel walking around the streets? Why can't you? If you're allowed to drink, why are you not allowed to walk around with the drink? It's just ridiculous.
Of the day, drinking alcohol, carrying your bottle of
And you guys do it, and you guys seem fine. You guys are fine.
vodka, whatever you want to do. It was totally normal for us to go pre-drinking to a bar, or you hang out in a park and you get beer from a kiosk or from the supermarket because it's cheaper as a student. That's just what you do in Germany as a student. You go in summer, sit outside somewhere and drink.
As a student, you drink.
And later on, you go partying.
I'm
And
so used to that now. I'm afraid when I go back, I'll just forget and I'll just be like walking around with some wine or something.
it's not like we're doing that all the
That's
time.
true.
I mean, people do it. You just need to hide it, you know? You need to put it in like a cup. Like one of those cups with the lids that every female owns one of these cups.
But yeah,
Every female owns 5 of these cups.
that's usually the case here. It's funny though, in some places where I was like going out a lot in Göttingen, in one street they made it illegal to carry around the things anymore because there were too much trash and stuff lying around on the next day, I guess.
I lived in Charleston, South Carolina, which is a coastal city, and there are a lot of beaches. And I remember we would go to the beach and you have these koozies and you have your drink in them.
Koozie.
There's like a police patrol on a 4-wheeler going to.
Why did he say it like that? Does he? You guys like that word over there in Germany? Koozie? Is that a funny word? Koozie.
Every
Guess he thought so.
group that's sitting on the beach checking to see if they had alcohol or not, because you're not allowed to have alcohol. I was with my friends and they made her pull out of her koozie and show that it was a Dr. Pepper, and
Ridiculous. And they don't even know what she put in that Dr. Pepper. You know what I mean? She could have spiked it with some Fireball.
not a beer. And then they were on their merry way because they find people. It's such a weird
me
thing.
off.
Like if you're just
Like you're not even causing any problems.
getting to enjoy yourself on the beach, why are you
Exactly.
not allowed to have a beer? But I think it's specific.
No one's even complaining. Like it would be one thing if everybody was saying these people are acting obnoxious. They're making too much noise. I know the Germans get very upset at that. And these kids are annoying as heck. Then go check their koozies, I guess.
Beaches.
We're back. I just ran out of space on my computer. Story of my life.
But I think
Finish
it's
it out.
specific beaches.
Yeah, dude, that guy's gonna be hated by everybody.
The trick is to cut out the Dr. Pepper and put it over.
That's dope.
That's the trick.
Yeah, I think Germans like to drink on the water too whenever there's a river. You just saw that in Düsseldorf where we were. A lot of people
A river, if there's a river, great excuse to drink alcohol.
just sitting on the grass, on the water in summer
Whether
especially,
you're on it or next to it.
and just drinking wine. So if you want to have a nice little picnic, you can bring a wine bottle.
Yeah, I cannot.
I don't know why. I thought these were like graves. Like everybody was just sitting on a grave drinking beer.
Wine
Yeah,
bottle.
I cannot wait for the German Christmas markets so then you can open.
Yes, the German Christmas markets. That's what I'm going to be reacting to soon. I don't know if I'll wait till December. Probably not. Probably in a couple weeks. Subscribe for that. I love the German Christmas markets.
They have glue.
Oh yeah, it's another whole thing. The Christmas markets, all the glue wine, all the punches,
The hot
and
wine.
all that
The
good
meat,
stuff.
the
The
meat,
meat, yeah.
Me can't wait for December.
All right, so those.
Wow. Awesome video. Go check out Dina and Phil. Always good. Always great. And thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go run for president and lower the drinking age. I'm just going to have it say that we just follow Germany's rules because they're better. I like it. I'll see you guys tomorrow for some memes, probably. Goodbye.